Picture this. Your new admin assistant is sitting in front of the accounting software trying to invoice a client. She vaguely remembers there's an SOP for this somewhere on Google Drive, and to find it, she would have to leave her software, open the company drive, dig through the folders, find the right document, read it, and come back to the software. Or she could just turn around and ask you. Guess which one she's gonna choose. The reason your SOPs aren't being used has nothing to do with how well they're written. I know that is annoying to hear because you've spent some serious effort on them. But by the end of this video, you'll know the one structural change that turns your SOP library from a graveyard into something your team actually uses without rewriting a single document. That scenario I just described, it is not your assistant being lazy. The whole searching for information step takes her longer than the task itself. Meanwhile, it takes her 1 second to turn around and ask you. So she asks every time. And there's a principle from the book Nudge. If you want a behavior to happen, make it the default. An example from the book was on retirement plans. When companies switched retirement savings from opt-in to automatic enrollment, participation jumped immediately. Did people suddenly wake up to the idea that having retirement saving is good for them? No. It's just that there is now no friction getting in the way. The same principle applies to your SOPs. If you want people to follow them, you have to make following them the default choice. Stop fighting humanness. So, tangibly, how do you do that? You have to embed the SOP in the work itself. I'm going to show you 3 examples. These are specifically chosen to show you how this principle works, whether your work is physical, low-tech, or fully digital. One from a hotel, one from a media agency, and one from my own ClickUp. Example 1. The physical workplace. In hotel housekeeping. How does hotel management ensure that every room is consistently cleaned? Yes, there's hiring and there's training, but more importantly, there's a checklist attached to each housekeeper's trolley. As the housekeeper goes about her business, she carries this checklist on a clipboard and ticks through the items. Are the towels replaced? Check. Is the minibar restocked? Check. And so on. If someone were to tell you that the housekeeper is expected to look up the protocol in the back office before cleaning each room, you would find it absurd, wouldn't you? This is the most obvious form of how to embed SOPs in the work itself. You have physical work, therefore a physical checklist. But what about work that happens on a screen? Here's where it gets interesting. Example 2. The low-tech office, a spreadsheet template. The second example is from a job I had years ago. I led a team that ran reporting for a big agency, and we depended on dozens of people across different countries to send us data correctly. Mistakes were constant. We tried the usual things such as long emails, training decks, frequent onboarding calls, and none of it stuck. What actually worked was simple and low-tech. We built a reporting template with the instructions baked into the first tab. Every field had a comment explaining what it needed and the exact format. The first tab had a checklist that pointed to further instructions inside the file itself. No hunting through emails and no separate documentation. Before submitting the report to us, stakeholders ran through the checklist. If anything came back to us unchecked, we sent it straight back. And here's the part that makes this even more useful. If a step couldn't be completed for whatever reason, they could leave it unchecked, but they have to write a 1-line note explaining why. And suddenly, this checklist wasn't just a quality control tool. It was a feedback loop. If the same step kept getting flagged, we knew that the process needed updating. That works, but it is still a manual setup. If you got a work management tool, you can take this even further. And this is where I will show you my current system. Example 3, the digital workflow, ClickUp task templates. If you're using a work management platform like ClickUp, it's even easier to embed your SOPs directly in there. And no, I don't mean writing them as ClickUp docs because that is basically no different from using Google Docs. What I mean is this. If you have a recurring task, create a task template for it. So, Let me show ya. Video creation is a weekly recurring task for me. Every time I'm creating a new video, I just apply the template. And voila! All the instructions are right inside the task. So here's how it's structured. Each step in the process is a subtask. I work with a video editor sometimes, so we have to collaborate. And I use these checklists inside each task to communicate my expectations, and I lay out every step that he needs to take. There's a video editing software that I use. It's called Descript. Anyway, so since my editor isn't familiar with Descript, I've added help links right here, plus the SOPs for exactly how I want the word gap to be removed. So as he checked off each step, he can refer to my specifications in the same place. He doesn't need to navigate elsewhere, and I don't need to grant him permission to yet another tool. You notice how I didn't include instructions on how to use the script itself. I just pointed him to where he can get help. Obviously, not everything needs its own SOP. I will do a whole video on what does and doesn't need an SOP, so subscribe if you don't want to miss it. If you're working with a lot of templates, you can even set up automations to apply them. I have one that triggers whenever I create a task containing the word video. So when I create a task here and I call it video something, see, the template actually gets automatically applied. If you're collaborating with a team, this saves a lot of back and forth on what template or what SOPs need to be attached to what kind of task. And the best part is the subtask and checklist system becomes your quality control mechanism directly. If something isn't working, you can communicate inside the task itself and then adjust the template on the spot. Whether your work happens with your hands in a spreadsheet or in a project management tool, the principle is the same. Let the instruction travel with the work. If you've already got a library of SOP documents, don't worry, because none of it is going to waste. You just need to turn them into checklists, comments, task descriptions, or even just printing them out and sticking them on a wall where the work happens. Now, I have a question for you. What's that one SOP that is really important, but your team just keeps ignoring? Drop in a comment and I'll tell you where I would embed it. If you found this video useful, give it a like and subscribe for more operational fun for small teams. If you want to try Descript for yourself, which is the software that I'm using to edit this video, there's a link in the description for 50% off the Creator Monthly Plan for 2 months. Ganbatte ne! See you in the next one! Ciao, ciao!